Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. Time for another quick video. This is going to be my response to the my video response to the VC lottery. For those of you guys that aren't familiar with the VC lottery, it's the second one that Robert Z's put on. The first one was a few years, maybe 2-3 years ago. It's been quite a while since the last one, but I took part in that one too. And basically, 26, 30 people volunteer to provide prizes to whoever the lottery winner is. So Robert G is going to pull a name. Whoever that name is that's pulled is going to get a record from every one of the people who volunteered. I volunteered for it last time, sent out a couple cool records to the winner. There was a lot of drama involved in that particular lottery, so hopefully this one is a little bit less drama filled. I'm sure it will be, because a lot of the people that caused the drama are no longer around. But I want to go ahead and do my entry. He wanted us to do a three ghosts video, and basically he wanted us to talk about three musicians who are no longer with us, who we'd like to invite to a party and just have an evening with. And I went back and forth on this. You know, my first thought what was this particular guy. But then I decided against it. You know, I've done similar drawings before, I've done similar contests before and chosen Jimi Hendrix. I wanted to go a little different route this time. So we're going to start with one of my all-time favorite singers, very important singer from the 90s. And it's going to be this gentleman right here, Mr. Layne Staley, from Alice in Chains, and then from this band right here, Mad Season. And I'll talk about this record in another video, because I have quite a bit to say about Mad Season and about this particular record right here. If you guys have been watching me for long enough, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of Alice in Chains, specifically Layne Staley and the Layne Staley era. I got into them when, was it the We Die Young EP came out? I can't remember, but I really dug that mix of alternative and kind of the doominess and drudginess of Black Sabbath, a little bit of the sludge influence from the Melvins. They were definitely a product of their environment, and Layne Staley was just an amazing songwriter and an amazing singer. Jerry Cantrell gets credit for most of the songwriting. But Layne wrote some amazing songs, and I don't think there's a better singer out there. What he did and the way he emoted the lyrics that he sang, I can't think of anybody who's ever been that good, where when he sang, you felt exactly what he was singing. And that's kind of, I've talked about this, that's my issue with the current Alice in Chains lineup without him, is that their singer, though I do like him, he just doesn't have that ability to emote the way Layne Staley did. And honestly, he just doesn't have a voice. I mean, nobody's got a voice like Layne Staley's. It was so dark and beautiful at the same time. But I would love to spend an evening with even if he's not sober, but a sober Layne Staley. And speaking of a person I would like to spend an evening with sober, the second is the lead singer from this band. Got his start in Skid Row, and when that didn't work out, the original Skid Row, I might say, he started his own band, which went by the name Thin Lizzy. And I'm, of course, talking about Phil Lynott. And, of course, one of the all-time great live albums. Maybe one of the best live albums. Probably is one of the best live albums ever. But just such an amazing singer, an amazing performer, an amazing songwriter. it was really sad to see him slowly lose all of that ability towards the end there as he got deeper and deeper into his addictions. But even Thin Lizzy at their worst was amazing. And even Phil Lynott at his worst was amazing. And I would just love to spend an evening with him. I would love to have seen him live like I did Lane Staley. Unfortunately, that was not in the cards. But, and if you guys don't have this album, this is a must-have for everybody. I don't care what kind of music you're into. This is an album you should have. And it's one of those bands that whether you know the name Thin Lizzy or not, you know a couple of their songs, Whiskey in a Jar, Cowboy Song, Boys Are Back in Town. I mean, they have so many songs that still pop up pretty regularly. Emerald, Rosalie, that still pop up pretty regularly on FM radio and satellite radio and internet radio and whatever kind of radio you're listening to. And then last but not least, so this is somebody I've always liked. My dad was a big fan of him and his band. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten more and more into him specifically. And all of the music that he did, not just in the band that he's most famous for, but some of the amazing stuff that he did for music as a whole. And that person is Mr. Duane Allman. Of course, the guitarist for the Allman Brothers Band, who unfortunately died at a very young age, and 71, 72. I can't remember exactly when it was. Was it 71? I want to say it was 71. One of the all-time great guitarists, one of the all-time great slide players. The more I get into his music, the more I love him. I've always loved the stuff from the Allman Brothers Band, but I didn't know that he did the solos on Layla. There's just so many albums that he recorded on. He was part of the Muscle Shoals Machine. He would go in and do sessions with them. He was really famous for whenever the Allman Brothers traveled. Instead of going out and partying and hanging out, which he did as well, he would also hit up local studios, and you could pay him. I think I read it was like $25 or $50, and he would play on your album. He would play guitar, and he didn't require that you gave him credit. So while they think that we now know of everything that he's played on, I'm sure there's some stuff out there, some bands that just never got big, maybe never got their material out there. I'm sure there's still some material out there of his that we haven't heard. But again, another must-have anthology. And this is kind of a greatest hits of sorts. So you got a little bit, you've got Layla on here. You've got a little bit of the band Cowboy. He did 2 songs with them. B.B. King medley. Hey Jude. Rolling Stone. So a bunch of covers. Statesboro Blues, which is just amazing. Just a great set. And this is an original pressing that I just picked up and paid a little bit for because the vinyl is mint. But I did find out that this was recently repressed, and I've seen it for $15-20 for a repressed version. So that is available out there. So my third pick would be Duane Allman. So we've got Lane Staley, Duane Allman, and then Phil Lynott. The last part of the contest was Robert wanted us to come up with a charity. And the way this would work is whoever wins the lottery, everybody else who entered would donate some money to their charity as well. So basically all the losers would donate to their charity. So a charity would come out as a winner in this too, which I think is a very cool idea. And it's something we toyed with a few years ago with the first lottery, where in conjunction with that, I did a little contest on the side for people that donated to a lottery, to a charity. So the charity for me is Operation Underground Railroad. I will put a link down below for their website. I've been donating to this charity pretty heavily for a while now. I'm a huge supporter of this charity. What they are is they combat sex trafficking in a way, and child trafficking specifically in a way that pretty much nobody else does, as opposed to just putting money into it and litigating and going after these sex rings. They actually go in and make a difference. What it is, it's a group of former CIA and Special Forces guys that actually infiltrate these rings and actually take these rings down. I believe they've saved over 1,000 children so far, and almost all of their money goes directly to operations. A very small percentage comes out for fees, and nobody is making salaries off of this. These guys are putting everything into this and really putting themselves into harm's way. And it's hard to listen to some of the stories that the guys tell, but it's work that has to be done. So again, that's Operation Underground Railroad. Again, highly recommend checking these guys out. That's it, guys. Take care. I hope everybody's good, and good luck to everybody that has entered the lottery. Bye-bye.